ever lost on a coin toss? Sir, the most you ever lost on a coin toss.
Why are you getting so upset? This is not about you.
Yes, it is. You are a human affront to all women, and I am a woman.
Of all the gin joints in all the towns in all the world, she walks into mine.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Fleming Film Show. Today we're doing a very special episode. We are dedicating this episode to our favourite artistic director, Wes Anderson. Justin joins me along with Cody Howells. Hello guys.
Hey.
Yeah, you
What's
guys
up,
up for talking about Wes Anderson?
Always one of my favorite filmmakers.
I'm looking forward to the French Dispatch, but yeah, I like Wes Anderson. You know, he is a visionary. He has great artistic views and skills, but he's so the same. It's the same. Like it's
But
very
do you
much
like
the same.
Tarantino and the Coen brothers?
Not really, actually.
Okay, because that would be the same thing.
It's only like a couple I really love from each of those. You know, Quentin Tarantino, obviously, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Django. And then Coen Brothers. Fargo? I don't know.
See, I get your complaint, and a lot of people would say that. I feel like he's very niche, and you either like it or you don't. But what I like about him is that you could almost, and like with Tarantino and the Coen brothers, you could say that like Wes Anderson is its own genre. Like his movies are its own thing.
That's what I was thinking about in my head before we were recording, actually. And I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah, absolutely. He is his own genre, yeah. I do appreciate him branching out, though, because they are the same, they're similar, but they're also really, different in their own ways. And each one's a different story, obviously. But he also has the stop motion movies, which is great. Like, it's such a good way to mix it up and give yourself another outlet to be creative in. So I appreciate him for that.
I think honestly he would make all his movies stop motion if he could. It just takes a lot of time and work, and I don't even know if he has the patience to do that many stop motion films, but I think he loves that art form.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's kick things off and rank his films from least favourite to favourite. Cody, would you like to kick off your number 9?
Sure. My number 9. So this is weird for me to kind of rank these because I like all these movies to one degree or another.
I
just
do want to
like
I totally agree with that. It's hard to rank them because again they're all kind of similar and they're all actually really good movies. So yeah, I completely agree.
It's kind of like saying rank your 9 favorite flavors of ice cream. But if I have to put one at the bottom, I think this one I'm putting at the bottom not because it's a bad movie. It's the one I've watched the least amount of times. And when I rewatched it this week, I didn't like it as much as the first time I watched it. I really liked the connection with the brothers and their little journey they go on. But this is a criticism Wes Anderson gets when he delves into other people's culture, particularly people of color. And sometimes people don't like that, especially how he portrays certain cultures and the stereotyping of the characters. But I still like this movie. And that's the Darjeeling Limited. I guess the only other complaint I would have is not enough Bill Murray in this one, but it's still a good movie. It's just the one I'm putting at number 9.
Nice. It's a lot different to my number 9, which is The Life Aquatics of Steve Zissou. I just think this is the most boring out of his films. I love Bill Murray, I love Owen Wilson, I love Kate Blanchett. The cast is perfect, and the bloke singing David Bowie is perfection. But the film, his other plots are better than the plot in this film, I think. And I think that's what makes change the plot around, and you got a good movie.
I don't disagree with you there. It's not that much higher up on my list, but it's a divisive one. I know a lot of people put it right at the top, or some people put it at the bottom like you, but I think if you don't like Wes Anderson, that's probably like the most infuriating movie on the list, because that's like all the things people don't like about Wes Anderson, I think, is that movie. Like, that's like the most Wes Anderson-y movie, probably, that people will be like, ugh.
What's your number 9, Justin?
All right, well, I've only seen all of these movies just once. And so I don't know too much about each one individually, but I do know that I did like them more than the first viewing of Rushmore, which is my number 9. I know. It's not a bad film. Perfectly fine. I love Bill Murray, but I hate Jason Schwartzman in that movie. So, and the OR scrub thing kills me every time. I remember that from the trailer. It just is so fun and funny. But he just lacked a sort of presence. Like, I don't know. As a lead, he just didn't do it for me. But I do like him in other things, just not in this. And unfortunately, that ruined it for my experience. I know we're going to be talking about it on your podcast, Cody, so I'll leave more on there. But, it's a fine film. I just know I enjoyed the first viewing of these other movies more.
Fair enough. Cody, what's your number 8?
My number 8, it might be higher on your guys' list. I don't know how you kind of feel with this movie, but I think the reason I have it low is not because, again, it's not bad. It's actually a really good movie, and it's a great debut film, but I feel like if you didn't know it was directed by Wes Anderson, you may not be able to tell because it doesn't quite have as much of the visual cues that we come to know him by, but it does have that offbeat humor and the melancholy with some of the characters. But I think it just doesn't feel as recognizable as the other films. So I'm putting Bottle Rocket at number 8.
Snap, I had Bottle Rocket as number 8. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a really good debut film, but I feel like it's his early days, you know, like, it's like what Stanley Kubrick has with Fear and Desire, or Christopher Nolan has with Following. They're not bad movies, they're kind of like good start movies, but their other work is better, and I personally think I prefer Bottle Rocket out of the three of them.
Well, for sure, yeah. I haven't seen Fear and Desire, but between Bottle Rocket and The Following, I would say, yeah, it's a stronger debut film. But I think Anderson had a higher budget than Nolan had with Following. And he had like James L. Brooks kind of backing him up producing it, so.
So what's your number 8 then, Justin?
My number 8 is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Totally fun. I really actually enjoy this one a lot. I love Bill Murray, Cate Blanchett, just all the same things that you sort of said, Rob. I didn't find it boring at all. I actually really enjoy the chemistry, between all the characters, and I think it's fun. You know, they're underwater. That's tons of fun. I mean, in the best sort of Wes Anderson way as well. And even like the lighthouse and the land, it's all really beautifully, artfully done, like great production design. So that's one of my that's what I have to say about Life Aquatic, number 8.
Do you like the guy singing David Bowie songs?
Yeah, sure. Also, Willem Dafoe, right?
He doesn't
Classic.
love Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Cody, you're number 7.
My number 7 is Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. This movie moved up for me. I kind of had it at number 9, number 8 most of the time because I think this and Darjeeling kind of always were near the bottom, and I know that that's kind of the common ranking. Those tend to be the two a lot of people put at the bottom, but I had a lot of fun with it this time. I love the stop motion that Henry Selick did with the sea creatures. I like that it's like basically a love letter to Jacques Cousteau. I mean, Bill Murray's great. Willem Dafoe, my birthday buddy, we share a birthday. He's amazing. You got Jeff Goldblum in here being his Jeff Goldblumiest. And yeah, the David Bowie soundtrack. It's just fun. I mean, it's not his best made film. He has better stories. He has better chemistry with it fitting together, but it's a fun movie. So that's why it's at my number 7.
My number 7 is one you've already said. It's the Darjeeling. It's a bit limited. I've only watched this film once, and I think it is it has a good intro with Bill Murray, but it just kind of gets a bit boring towards the end, and I think that's why I ranked it 7th. When I was hoping this film was going to be a lot better, was going to be like one of his best films, and at the end I was like, meh, it was okay.
Yeah.
My number 7 is The Royal Tenenbaums. This is the very, very first Wes Anderson experience that I had. I saw it in theaters. It's brilliant. It's just a fun, amazing movie, and Ben Stiller is killer in it. And we were just gonna keep repeating the same names just because they're all in the same movies. Bill Murray's fantastic. We get it. No, it's a dysfunctional, weird family, and it just works. It just worked for me. I love the matching suits, and most of their dialogue is fantastic, and I really enjoyed it, and like the pinkish hue to it is interesting, but it's so Wes Anderson. This has got to be one of the most Wes Anderson of all the movies. So yeah, it's good. Again, I enjoy these other movies more on the first viewing, but yeah, Royal Tenenbaums, my number 7.
No spoilers, but that's going to be much higher up on my list.
Uh-huh.
Me too. But Cody, all I want to know right now is your number 6.
So my number 6 is also a Wes Anderson film that some people find problematic due to also talking about a culture that is not of Caucasian, being told by a Caucasian person, and the dog speaking English, but the Japanese characters not having subtitles. But I feel like this movie was kind of tailor-made for me. It's a Wes Anderson movie that's stop motion. It is a love letter to the films of Akira Kurosawa, and it has dogs in it. And I think the voice cast is top-notch. I like the score. It's a really well-done movie. I think the biggest issue that a lot of people have is that, the Greta Gerwig character kind of comes off as a white savior and probably wasn't needed, but I enjoy this movie. It's a lot of fun. I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and so, yeah, Isle of Dogs is my number 6.
That is a lot higher on my list. I love Isle of Dogs.
I agree.
My number 6 is Rushmore. Yeah, so my review on Rushmore came out recently. It is a really good film, and I like how it's written, and Olivia Williams, who's also in The Sixth Sense and The Father, she's really good in it, along with Bill Murray, Brian Cox, and Jason Schwartzman. I disagree with Justin. I think this is Jason Schwartzman at one of his best. The character is a bit annoying, but I just kind of see this as Wes Anderson's version of Napoleon Dynamite.
Well, do you like him in other movies, or specifically this one?
I like him in the other Wes Anderson film he's in, and I thought he's great in Funny People with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, he's better with others. He plays well with others.
I think he's really great as the Schwarmy douche too in Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah, hell yeah, so good. All right. My number 6 is the Grand Budapest Hotel. What a smart movie. I mean, just so good. I love Ralph Fiennes. Rafe is amazing in this film. It's already higher on your guys' list, obviously, for a reason. It's a great, great movie. I think it was nominated for Best Picture. The guy who plays the bellboy is so damn good. In the way that he utilized that hotel and kind of made it like funky and unique, because a lot of that stuff you don't really see at a hotel. So this is really swank, and it really was a fun viewing in the theater. I think everyone really enjoyed it, when we were watching it and getting laughs. And again, he's with that kind of pinkish, reddish, almost like red velvet like coloring in this movie a lot. And I keep thinking about the production design in this one too. It's just really magnificent, and I think that was up for best production design as well. My number 6 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Good. So we are halfway. Cody, what is your number 5?
So I made a last-minute change just listening to everybody talking and looking at my number 5 and my number 4, and I've decided to flip-flop them instead of where I have them on my letterbox list, so I'll have to adjust that. But I'm going to put Rushmore as my number 5. This was his, even though Bottle Rocket's his debut film, this was like his breakout film. Like, this one got a lot of attention from like MTV and film critics. And yeah, Jason Schwartzman's probably not the most likable character that he plays in this movie, but I think that's on purpose. And I think what him and Bill Murray have, their chemistry together is amazing. And I think anyone that's been like an artsy kid kind of can relate to this film, or a kid that got to go to a rich school that didn't feel like they quite belonged. And anyone that had a major crush on one of their teachers, you could relate to this film. And I just love how he gets on Brian Cox's nerves so much. But yeah, I love this movie. That's why it's at my number 5.
Nice, nice. My number 5 is a little bit different to his other movies. This one is based on a book by Roald Dahl, and it's Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Good one.
Yeah, I've read the book to this one, and the book is like kind of small, and I'm kind of find it weird how he expanded the story. The story is good. I just don't like George Clooney as Mr. Fox. His voice is too distracting. I feel like if he had, I mean, because it's Roald Dahl and he's British, I kind of picture him to have a British accent. I mean, I can let off the other cast, but I just feel like George Clooney is just kind of too distracting, like he was in Batman. Only he's better as Mr. Fox for some reason.
How do you like Michael Gambon as the evil farmer?
He's great.
Agreed. All right. My number 5 is. Sorry, my girlfriend's sister brought her dog over, and so we have extra barkers today.
Oh man.
All right. Well, my number 5 is the Darjeeling Limited. Talk about liking Schwartzman in this. I do. Shush. But the stars of the show, Owen Wilson and Adrian Brody, I just love them in this movie. And Adrian Brody, it really gave him a way to showcase his acting ability than what we normally see him in. And I just loved it. I thought that he showcased the acting great. I got to talk about the production design again, because I was talking to somebody earlier today. When we watch movies and we really enjoy them, it's like watching The Jungle Cruise last night. You just want to be immersed in that world. You would live in that world and have that adventure and have that fun. Well, I would love to be on that train. It just is so cool and so much fun. I don't care where I'm going or how long the train ride's going to be, but yeah, I just really love Owen and Adrian Brody in this movie. So, and then Schwartz.
Have you guys watched the short film that was made? That if you have the DVD or Blu-ray, it shows it either you can watch it separate or before Hotel Shavar with Natalie Portman and Jason Schwartzman.
No,
I have, yes.
So if you remember, Justin, Natalie Portman is briefly seen in that montage after they meet their mother with all the characters we've met throughout the film. That is the ex. That's the ex that Jason Schwartzman is like checking her messages and that broke up with him.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I noticed actually going through his IMDb that he works a lot. He just does a short in between his movies. He does like a short or two in between each film. So yeah, he loves those shorts, because Bottle Rocket based off a short as well.
Nice.
Cool.
Cody, what's your number 4?
So I guess we're gonna keep flip flopping here, Robbie, with some of our rankings, because my number 4 is the Fantastic Mr. Fox. I absolutely find this movie charming. I love the score from Alexander Duplat on this, and I think George Clooney. I can understand why you're wanting you see it as a British person and a British accent, but I think casting Clooney makes the character that more charming, because he's a charming guy and he's a fox. And I love when instead of saying actual cuss words, they just say the cuss, and that's just hilarious. And yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. It always puts a smile on my face when I watch it.
I don't dislike Fantastic Mr. Fox at all. I still think it's a great film.
And I love the bit where Michael Gambon's character starts kicking things and throws. Does he break the guy's? I don't think he breaks the guy's guitar, but he throws something at him and tells him, "You wrote a bad song, PD."
That is funny. That is funny. My number 4 is something Justin said previously. It's the Grand Budapest Hotel. I just love the hotel. Like, I was watching it last night. I was trying to show it to my girlfriend, and I was trying to show her the hotel and how it just looks beautiful. And it's just a hotel you'd love to stay in. And all the adventures with Ralph Fiennes and the Lobby Boy. It's cool how he's an MCU actor, because he's also in Spider-Man. He's good in that too. So yeah, I love the Grand Budapest Hotel. The middle bit is a bit slow, and I think that's why I didn't put it in the top 3. But you guys will love the top 3.
Well, I'm kind of figuring it out. It sounds like we're all gonna have at least one that's in the top 3 that's the same. So that we know that. But my number 4 is the first. Well, it's his second stop motion animated film, Isle of Dogs. I went to see this movie by myself, and I had a goddamn blast. It is a ton of fun. It's so unique because not only is it stop motion, but it's all in like Chinese, Asian subculture, the culture, and that just makes it a little more unique. It's not he went above and beyond just doing it like a dog stop motion movie, but it was in a different country and had different languages and flavors to it. I just enjoy the dogs so much, and they're just creative and weird and fun. And this is one that you don't, because it's the stop motion. It's the production design doesn't even it's not even coming into play in this one. But what do are the characters and the uniqueness of the film in itself, and the fact again that Wes Anderson can just do something different than what he normally does. I like that he broke it up a few times in his career with these stop motion animated films, and Isle of Dogs is great. I think it was up for best animated picture that year.
It was. And another thing that kind of references Akira Kurosawa films is the mayor, the sort of villain in the movie, looks pretty closely to Toshiro Mifune.
That is quite
beautiful.
Funny. Yeah. So Cody, what's your number 3? What's your bronze?
My bronze is probably higher up on both of y'all's list, and if it's your number 1 or number 2, I could not argue with you because this is such a sweet movie, and it's one of his best. And he kind of breaks the mold with this one, I think, because even though it still deals with parents and relationships, he's kind of moving away from the bad dad story arc in this one. And it's just, again, these movies are charming. Wes Anderson films are charming, whether it's just the immaculate production design. And I think period pieces work really well with Wes Anderson. So it's kind of cool that I think The French Dispatch is also taking place like early 20th century as well. I think he really does well with these period pieces. And yes, Moonrise Kingdom is my number 3.
Nice. I will talk about that in a bit.
Well, I can pop on as well just because it's my number 3 as well. It's just what you said. It's so damn charming. Everyone in it looks like they're having a good time, and including Edward Norton. I mean, he just let himself go and is having so much fun, and I really like that an actor of that. I just really like that everyone went to go have fun in a Wes Anderson film, and they totally did. And plus, it's talk about a unique like topic or story. It's just about like a troop, you know. And Asher, enough. And enough.
And
No.
Bruce Willis is actually trying in this movie. Like he's acting.
Well, yeah, because it's a normal movie instead of like a straight to VOD movie that he's been doing, which he puts out weekly. There's a new Bruce Willis film weekly coming out.
How is he not tired?
Anywho, tons of fun. I love Moonrise Kingdom. My top 3 can totally be interchangeable, so I really enjoyed it. But I just had a little more fun than in the first 2. So, what's your number 3 there, Rob?
The Royal Tenenbaums, which doesn't have Bruce Willis in, thank God. Another thing, Gene Hackman, he went to quit. He's not making VOD films weekly. But the whole cast, like, I can't stand Gwyneth Paltrow, but she's a really good character in this. Like, you know, if I hated this film because I don't like Gwyneth Paltrow, this would be straight 9. But no, I absolutely love this film. Regardless, like, you can like a film with an actor you don't really like, can't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, happens all the time. And I mean, sometimes you just don't like their personality, and they're fine actors, or sometimes you just don't care for that actor, but certain directors tap into what like they're good at, or what makes them interesting on screen.
Yeah, definitely. So, what's your silver then?
My silver is a film I put higher up than you guys, and not that you guys were talking bad about it. I guess I just enjoyed it more than y'all. My number 2 is the Grand Budapest Hotel. I think this is Wes Anderson firing on all cylinders. I think this is probably him at his best at pure direction on camera. I just love how the scenes play out, the energy of the movie. I think Ralph Fiennes was perfectly cast. I can't imagine anyone else playing this role but him. And I just love the look of the whole movie, like through the different decades. In that video you sent me, Robbie, they talked about how he shot each period of the film in a different ratio, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, this is the one that finally got him some Academy recognition, and I think it's a fantastic blast. You got Willem Dafoe being terrifying, and you've got so many of the Wes Anderson players showing up and having a blast. I love, like, there's a league of concierge hotel people that call each other up and like get things for one another. It's a delightful film.
Nice. I do love it, but my number 2 is my second favourite animated film of 2018, and it's Isle of Dogs.
Was your number 1 Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, I love Isle of Dogs. I saw Isle of Dogs in the cinema by myself, like Paul Justin did. And it was awesome. I love the dogs and the different personalities. I love how they're all played. I kind of like the Japan setting, and personally, I don't see what's controversial about it, as I feel like they are played by Japanese actors. And yeah, there are like some. Well, look at Clint Eastwood. He's made a Japanese film, and Bong Joon-ho's made a American film with Okuja. So yeah. I think filmmakers can mix with different settings and cultures, and I think Isle of Dogs is a good animated film. So, Justin, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is a movie that I had a really good time with, especially for the first view and for the first movie for him to direct, and that's Bottle Rocket. I really, really enjoyed Bottle Rocket. Owen Wilson, unrecognizable almost. But it is the first time we hear him say "wow," so that's fun to see for the first time. But Luke Wilson also just such a delight. I mean, very charming and charismatic. He was good looking back then. I think he has a drinking problem now. But it's just a fun debut movie. And, it's before he became the Wes Anderson that we know and love now. Because I think his next film was Rushmore, I believe. And he started doing more and more of the Wes Anderson thing, and now obviously with like Grand Budapest and all that, that's like as Wes Anderson as you can possibly be. But it was fun to see the transition, especially in those first two movies. But Bottle Rocket was just so much fun. It's a lot less Wes Anderson-y than most of his movies, which is why I enjoyed it so much. The dialogue's fun, characters are great, and the love story is believable. It's so silly. It's just a silly film. I mean, when they're supposed to be robbers, and thieves, and like they're the worst criminals ever. So I had a lot of fun. Bottle Rocket, number 2.
I would argue that might be Luke Wilson's best performance. I think he's really good in it. And did you know their other brother is in this film as well?
Yes, and he's also in Rushmore. And actually, he sounds just like Owen in Rushmore. I think I was like looking down at something, and then I heard it, and I was like, Owen's in this movie? Or Luke's in this movie? And no, it's that other third brother. But yeah, he's such a dick in Bottle Rocket. What'd you say?
Luke is in Rushmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the nurse or doctor.
Yeah.
So
when
funny.
he says, "Oh, are they?"
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Have this feeling that you two have the same number 1.
No.
No, we don't, because he's already listed my number 1.
Yeah. Nobody has the same number 1.
So
what's your number 1 code?
My number 1 is been my favorite Anderson film since I saw it, and nothing has taken it down yet. And maybe it's just nostalgia of how long I've loved this movie. But it's the Royal Tenenbaums. I think this is it's the most Wes Anderson movie probably, with all the pink and the matching and the eccentricness. I love this eccentric family and this group of child geniuses that kind of burned out and they all come back together. I think this is a great performance from Gene Hackman. I wish it was maybe his last role. I wish it wasn't Welcome to Mooseport with Ray Romano, but it's okay. In my mind, this is Gene Hackman's last performance.
Whoa, Gene Hackman was in Heartbreakers after Royal Tenenbaums.
Did it? I thought that came out before, because that's a fun movie. But
no,
this is definitely one of his...
Isn't it 2000?
This was 2001. He had a lot of movies. It was a good year for Gene Hackman. Yeah. And I love the narration from Alec Baldwin. I love this movie. It's why it's my number 1. It's great.
Yeah, 2001 as well.
Well, my number 1, as you all guys know, if you've seen my Wes Anderson list, it's Moonrise Kingdom. I don't think this will never be my number 1 favourite Wes Anderson film, sorry. Yeah, the whole location of the peninsula, the scouting, Bill Murray and Frances McDormand, Tilda Swinton, Bruce Willis, Edward Norton, they're all just fantastic. This is one, and this feels the most Wes Anderson out of all his films.
I like how we all have a different opinion, like on what we think is the most Wes Anderson. But obviously, it's definitely one of his best. It's in all of our top 3s. It's so much fun, and when you know that the actors are having a good time, you can feel it, and it shines through on screen. And it's a solid flick. I actually forgot that was your favorite. I'm glad that was a good reveal.
So what's your number 1 then, Justin?
Well, the only one that's left, and that's the Whistler, Mr. Fantastic Mr. Fox. so good. I mean, it's just what I was saying. Stop, please. It's just what I was saying before. Is the way to break out of being who you are is go completely in another direction, and stop motion animation. It is just brilliant. Everyone was laughing and having a great time in the theater when I saw this, including me. I love every actor in it. I'm huge fans of them all. A huge fan of them all, and yeah, it's just so smart. And to transition it from a book to make it to the silver screen, the big screen, and to have adults and children like it is pretty damn good. So, Fantastic Mr. Fox is just too fantastic not to have it my number one.
Oh yes, because Meryl Streep is in it number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Do you know it was almost Kate Blanchett was almost the Mrs. Fox.
I bet you're happy that didn't happen, Rob.
I love Kate Blanchett.
Oh, it's Gwyneth you don't like.
Yeah,
And Willem Dafoe is so good as the rat.
he is.
Yeah, well, yeah, and just look at the animation. I mean, it's so raw and real. Like, you can see smudges and you can see the imperfections because that's what it is. But you can also see like the whiskers move and it's unique. We hadn't seen a movie like that before, not a stop motion animated one anyway. Because it's almost like a 3-dimensional with the fur and everything. But he really likes caper movies, so he likes having people be thieves and wear masks. So
Nice.
but yeah, tons of fun. All right, shall we read our top 9 from bottom to hoist?
Yes, you go first, Cody.
Okay, here we go. These are my Wes Anderson rankings. Number 9 is the Darjeeling Limited. Number 8.
We're gonna go. Sorry, yeah, Cody. We're gonna go.
My bad.
Yeah.
Right.
So my number 9 is The Life Aquatics of Steve Zissou.
And mine is Rushmore.
My number 8 is Bottle Rocket.
We have a match because my number 8 is also Bottle Rocket.
It's so surprising that we had a match. That's awesome. My number 8 is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
And my number 7 is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
And my number 7 is the Darjeeling Limited.
My number 7 doesn't need to be that low, but it's The Royal Tenenbaums. Great film.
And my number 6 is Isle of Dogs.
My number 6 is Rushmore.
I have the Grand Budapest Hotel at my number 6.
And cracking the number 5 for me is Rushmore.
My number 5 is Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I have Darjeeling Limited there in that slot.
My number 4 is the Fantastic Mr. Fox.
My number 4 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
And I have Isle of Dogs for number 4. And I also live in an Isle of Dogs here.
That sounds lovely. My number 3 is Moonrise Kingdom.
As is mine.
My number 3 is the Royal Tenenbaums.
My number 2 is the Grand Budapest Hotel.
And my number 2 is Isle of Dogs.
I have Bottle Rocket as my number 2.
And coming in at number 1 with a bullet for me is the Royal Tenenbaums.
And my favourite Wes Anderson film will always be Moonrise Kingdom.
And one of your all-time favorites. Like overall films, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. My number 1 is Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Nice, nice. I'm glad that we all have different taste in Wes Anderson films.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's all on subjection and preference, but I mean, it's like I said, it's trying to rank your favorite flavors of ice cream. But we all had Moonrise Kingdom in the top 3. Robbie, our bottom three was the same, just in a little bit of a different order. And we had 2 matches.
Yeah, that's amazing. Life Aquatic was in my bottom 3 as well, so we all kind of feel the same way about that one.
Definitely. Are you guys looking forward to the French Dispatch?
Yes.
Absolutely. I've been waiting 1.5 years for this movie. I know it debuted at Cannes this past month. We're not getting it till October. And it's coming out on the same day as Dune.
Ooh. It's one of my anticipated movies for sure.
I'll have to watch French Dispatch first, then go to next week for Dune, because I think James Bond comes up. I'll probably wait till the mid-November, so that's going to be a bit more popular.
Don't you get James Bond before us? I think it... Is it coming out in November for us? I thought it was coming out in October. I can't remember.
I think it's coming out at the end of October, but I think it'll probably be busy by then, so I'll probably wait a week.
What's the name of it?
No Time to Die?
No Time. Yeah, I know Die's in it. Let's see what it says. Doesn't have a release date here. Let's see what Google says. No Time to Die. Jesus! 2 hours and 54 minutes!
The longest Bond movie ever.
Oh my gosh. It doesn't say when it's releasing. Let's try it. Oh, October 8th, 2021.
Oh. Wow, are we getting it before? We can't be getting it before the UK. It's got to be the same weekend then.
It's right here.
It
says no time to
get it before.
Oh, right here. It says it's scheduled to release on the 30th of September in the UK and October 8th in the United States.
Got you. Yeah, I knew. Okay, I was like, there's no way it's coming out in the US before the UK.
Yeah.
Before we finish today's show, I just want to also say that I am going to be continuing my discussion with Cody on Moonrise Kingdom on his podcast.
Yeah, or can't wait to have you. So, yeah, I just watched all these movies, and I'm going to watch them all again, because I'm going to be well-versed in Wes Anderson by 2022.
Nice. And where can we find your podcast?
We are recording episodes. I'm going to start with the Wes Anderson and Guillermo del Toro series. I think I'm going to start posting those on YouTube since we've been having editing issues. But we do live casts on our Facebook page weekly, every Wednesday. We've been doing movies that take place during summer. And we just did a discussion on My Girl, and there's several discussions on there about various movies. We did a birthday show last weekend where me and my co-host Chris picked a movie because we had a birthday within a day of each other, and we talked about The Big Lebowski and Unbreakable.
Nice. I'll have to join you guys one day.
Well, it's usually late because I work during the week, but we can make an exception because I know you've got a big time difference. So let us know, and we'll get you in there.
Do you watch the movie, or you watch it and then you go live and talk about it?
So yeah, we watched the movie before and then just have a live discussion afterwards. Because since it's live, you can't really post the movie. I guess you could do a commentary and not get in trouble, but you couldn't show the movie on Facebook or anything.
That's fair enough. And Justin, we can find you at Worth Review Movies
on all the things, you know it. And yeah, Cody and I both also co-host on another podcast called The Pond Theater. We haven't been together in a while. I know Chase was at it's not a festival.
Was it a con last weekend, right? Yeah. Or some kind of convention?
Yeah, convention. Yeah, that's right. And so we'll get together again soon. But yeah, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Nice, and Cody is a fill-in for me fill-in for Justin next week, aren't you, Cody?
Yes, great to be back. Thank you again, Robbie. I'm always happy to talk movies with anybody that wants to listen to me ramble. So yeah, I'd be honored to be back next week.
Awesome. Thank you guys for listening. Thank the Patreon members, Ben, Sean, and the commentary filmmakers. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe, and comment, and let us know your favourite Wes Anderson films.
Please do.
And don't hate us if it's Life Aquatic. We like the movie.
Alright, take care, guys.
Alright.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.